Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Make Your Day Richer. We've got a really, really good show today, so I'm not going to waste a ton of your time, but we've had a lot of very talkative guests this week, and today is no exception, but we only have one guest today. Rhonda Britten is here, who we filmed this interview a while ago, and so I usually, when we do interviews not live, when I edit them in, I do it so it looks like, I'm saying hello to them. But we were having such a good time that I'm just going to like throw it out there when it starts and you're just going to watch it because she's a blast. And then it turns out that we're kind of from the same area. She's from the Midwest. She's from the UP. And I'm from northern Wisconsin. And it was just a really, really good interview all about fearless living and how she helps people and how she got to be on Oprah and she had her own show and all the really fun stuff. So it's a really good, great, amazing interview. She's a wonderful woman, and I'm happy to have had her on the show. Okay, but first of all, is this even loaded? I bet my Throwback Thursday isn't even loaded up here. No, it's not. All right, well, we'll get that for the end of the show. But outside of this show, I help other people produce and edit their podcasts. And Before You Go is a podcast done by the nonprofit in San Antonio called Abode, and their entire podcast is all about dying with death and dignity and even some joy. And it's a really great podcast that I'm so happy to be a part of. They have a new episode out, of course, this week. Comes out every week, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts. And I want to show you a clip.
What's the one thing that you wish more people knew about hospice?
It's better to have it earlier rather than later so that you can benefit fully from the support that it provides. And as I mentioned, we're there in support of that anticipated decline and change. We know that it's happening. We know it's coming. And so it is the reason that hospice is there, so that we can help to modify any medications, plan of care, equipment that's required for safety, orders for different levels of care that might be required if we need to move you maybe from home to a facility, or, increasing services and care. If you maybe didn't have a CNA initially because you didn't need one, but now you need one. So, just recognizing that it's beneficial if you believe that you're in need of hospice and maybe you're reluctant to accept it.
Before You Go is available wherever you get your podcast. If you want to learn more about Abode, you can go to their website, abodehome.org. And if you want help with your podcast or your live streams, send me an email at makeyourdayricher@gmail.com and let's work together. All right. Speaking of working together, there's a lot of work that goes into the show, and I'm so happy that people are watching the show and meeting all the amazing people that I get to meet every day live, most of the time with you. And let's see how many views and downloads we're up to now. We started 2025 with 100,000 views. We're almost at the end of March. Let's see where we're at. $331,115 views of all of these shows. We just hit 200 episodes this week, and we forgot to even celebrate it. So congratulations to us. Congratulations to all of our guests who get to be a part of it. And thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. Now's a good time to just share the show. Wherever you're watching or listening, just click that share button and help us get to 332,000, hopefully by tomorrow. I want to say hi to all my friends at Crossridge that I met this morning at Crossridge Coffee. There was a networking event that's great. So if you're in the Indian Land area, check that out or message me and I can let you know about that. So I want to say hi to all of them. Okay, that's it. Let's go, because Rhonda has a lot to say. So let's start the show, shall we? Everyone experiences fear, all of us. It's a universal human experience. But what if you could learn to master it, Today, we're speaking with a true expert in the field of fear and transformation. Rhonda Britten, an Emmy award-winning television personality, best-selling author, and master coach, has dedicated her life to helping people break free from the grip of fear and live more fulfilling lives. With over 600 reality TV episodes under her belt, appearances on Oprah, Steve Harvey, and The Today Show, and a global reach through her Fearless Living Institute, Rhonda has impacted millions. And she's about to impact more millions right here. Please welcome, in an almost unedited version of her interview, Rhonda Britten.
I'm just saying, most people want me back to do a part 2, and some people have had me
Oh.
back for part 3. Just so
Well,
you know.
all right. Well,
Just so you
let's
know.
get it all done now.
Just so you know. I'm just saying.
I might have to refill my coffee to keep up with Rhonda today. Rhonda, how
Okay,
are you?
Richard, let's see. Let's do
Yeah.
15 minutes, and then if you don't ask me back, I'll understand.
Okay, yes. This is the test right here. If Rhonda doesn't give us a review on PodMatch, and we love PodMatch for hooking us up with Rhonda, I'm stopping the show. This could be the last episode, Rhonda, if you don't have a good time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm feeling the pressure.
Rhonda, thank you so much for being here, though.
Are we starting, Richard, now?
Yeah, this is how I do my show. We're just
Okay,
chatting.
all right. So I'm going to
Yeah.
stop.
Serious faces. And I'll do your intro later, so it won't matter. So it'll all be seamless and really exciting. People will be glued. Rhonda, you have to be in the TV or people can't see you there. Welcome
Yes, I
back,
know.
Rhonda. We're back with Rhonda Britten. Rhonda, I have so many questions for you, but I want to start out with your Fearless Living Institute
Yes.
and where that came from. And then we're going to
Mm.
work our way back and probably forward and sideways a little bit.
Excellent. I love just ask me anything. Well,
Good.
where Fearless Living Institute came from is I'm going to be like a God person, but it was God, So
Yeah.
I have, like most of us, I listen for messages and cues, and I was I owned a PR company at the time, and I was with one of my clients who was one of the very first life coaches in the world, by the way. And he would always say to me, "You're going to be a better life coach than me." And I'm like, don't think so. Do you forget about the 3 DUIs, the alcoholism, and the 3 suicide attempts? I don't think that I'm worthy of like being a coach. I really believed that, by the way, Richard. And so I'm at his house and we're brainstorming solutions for his business, right? And I'm not joking, Richard. He's at the board writing things down, and all of a sudden the sky opens up. Not joking. The ceiling opens up, a cloud comes out, a book comes out on the cloud, and it goes like this. Shuts and goes back in the cloud. And I'm like, what just happened? And so I look at Paul, and he's still writing and talking. So clearly he does not know what happened. And so I think somebody must have walked in. So I turn around and look behind me, and nobody walked in. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? So I received a download with every question I'd ever asked, every frustration I'd ever had, every like, why is this the way it is? Every answer I received. And then it said to me, Richard, you must now go and teach it. And I was like this, you're crazy. Because didn't you, God, forget about the 3 DUIs, the alcoholism, and 3 suicide attempts? I mean, the good news is the next day I had an appointment. At the time I was taking spiritual classes and with the minister who was running a class. And I said, you go, what happened? And she goes, oh, you got the call. And I said, yeah, but have you forgotten about the alcoholism and the 3 DUIs?
Why is no one listening to me?
Yeah. Why don't you remember? And she goes, oh, well, if you got the call, you're ready. And I'm like, no. Did you not hear that I dropped out of college? So now I have to go back and finish my bachelor's, and I got to get a master's, and I got to get a PhD. And then like in 7 years, I can write a book, and then I can teach.
Then I'll
She was
be
Rhonda,
ready. Yeah.
right? Yeah, then I'll be ready. And then
Mhm.
she just kept saying the whole session, if you got the call, you're ready. And it took me a few months, many months, to say yes. But the whole premise of what Fearless Living is, and the name Fearless Living, really came to me through me. And I, at the time, was obedient and was like, really? But again, it took me months to do it, but I finally did do it. And so here I am. And of course, in the beginning, I was like, right, who am I, right? because again, don't forget about the alcoholism, the 3 DUIs, and the 3 suicide attempts. But eventually I started realizing I knew exactly what to say. And then once I got to that point, once I was like, wait a minute, I actually do know what I'm doing. Then I went from like 2 clients, 3 clients, and within literally a week, I had 20 clients in a full-time practice. So there you go, fearless living.
Wow. Were you someone who lived in fear?
No, this is
prior?
no, Richard, this is what's so great. So people think, oh, Rhonda, you must have had a lot of fear because of those alcoholism, DUIs, and suicide attempts. And, I grew up in Upper Michigan, and I'm 100% Finnish. So my grandfather
Where
came
in
over
Upper
on the boat,
Michigan?
Hancock and Houghton in the Copper Country.
No way.
Why?
I
What?
grew up in northern Wisconsin,
Where?
near Ashland.
Oh, yes, Ashland, of course.
Have
Of
you
course,
ever been to
gotta go
Copper
through.
Falls State Park?
Well, of course.
That's where I'm from.
Oh my
The little
gosh.
town.
We always stop in Ashland on the way because we used to live in Duluth and we have relatives in Superior. We go right through
Come
Ashland.
on.
And there used to be, I don't know if it's still there, but there's an ice cream store there. And we used to stop, that used to be our break, our ice cream store in Ashland.
That's insane.
I'm not kidding.
Would you go back?
I usually go back most summers. And for a long
Well,
time,
yeah,
I went
who would
back
go
for
back
like,
in the winter?
well, my sister goes in the winter actually, because she loves snowshoeing. But
Mm.
I usually go in the summer and or fall. And I used to go
Mhm.
for a whole month. But my relatives are now fading off. They're passing. So I only have a few left. But we're going this summer because it's my sister's high school reunion. And so we're going to be going there for like 3 weeks.
Well, I'll be there in June for my grandma's 94th birthday.
Well, I'll be there in July for the high school all-class reunion and the canal run and, for the craft
course.
fairs.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in Duluth at FinFest at the end of July, beginning of August.
Oh,
FinFest is going to be in Duluth.
so fun.
So anyway,
One day
back to the
we'll.
question about
Okay,
fear.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the question with fear, if you are from that area, you already know the answer.
Mhm.
We don't feel. There's no feelings, and there's no like, how are you? Are you doing okay? No, nobody asks, nobody cares. I always make the joke that if I cut my arm off and I walked in the house, my mother would be like, wash the dishes, right? Just like, who cares, right? Like, just get going. So if you would have asked me if I was afraid, I would have looked at you like you were insane. Like, no, I'm not afraid. Now, clearly, with perspective looking back, of course I had fear because I drank, et cetera, right? So, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't admit it. And that's one of the things that I am here to break through is that there are many people like me who will not admit they're afraid or can't see that they're afraid. And instead just beat themselves up and think they're flawed or there's something wrong with them or they wish they quit that behavior and why am I like that and oh my God, what's wrong with me, right? And I'm crazy or again, whatever all that is. But all of that are just symptoms of fear and what I call fear responses. So if you feel like you're procrastinating, if you feel like what's wrong with you, if you feel like you're unworthy, if you feel like there's, et cetera, anxiety, overwhelm, procrastination, perfectionism, et cetera, those are all just fear responses. So once you understand how fear works and understand that all those things you think are wrong with you or that you have to fix, or if only you could quit doing this or get rid of this, or if you only didn't do A, B, or C, then you'd be amazing. All those things that you think you have to get rid of actually dissolve once you see them for what they are. So once you see fear, and I created something called the Wheel of Fear and the Wheel of Freedom to help people do that. But once you see that, then everything changes and you're no longer, run from fear. You no longer run away because you see it for the real value that it is and how, and more importantly, you know what to do with it. So yeah, I never thought I was afraid. I never thought I was scared. I never even used the words I'm afraid. Ever.
We can't.
That was crazy.
It's too cold. Yeah,
Right.
we can't stop. Yeah.
Again, where we're from. So, suck it up is our motto.
Yeah. Walk it off is what my grandpa used to say. Yeah. Yes.
Mine was suck it up. Like that was it. It was like this, whatever. There's nothing wrong with you. Hurry up. Like just, shut up, go, So yeah.
My grandpa used to always say, don't worry about it. It'll put hair on your chest. I was like, I don't, as a 10-year-old, I was like, I don't think I want hair on my chest. That sounds gross to me. I don't know why we would want that as a goal.
Yeah, no, I know. And we never talked about anything. We just were quiet and silent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
never.
which spirals everything. What about like,
Yes.
the like, is it if you're fearing something or have those feelings for a certain amount of time, like, because obviously every day you're like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to whatever. But is it something that when you're starting to think about like, oh, maybe this is like a thing that I need to get help with, is it?
So this is a great question where you're going. So when I first start working with people and they're like, well, do I have fear? Do I not have fear? I don't know. Like you're saying, is
Yeah.
it just it's not a big deal. It's like, what's the big deal? Right. What I ask you to do is actually keep track of your fear responses. So what does that look like? Every time you beat yourself up, keep track of it. Every time you think it should be different, keep track of it. Every time you blame yourself for something, keep track of it. Every time you blame somebody else, keep track of it. Every time you procrastinate, say, God, I've got to get off my ass, write it down. Every time you say, again, so every time that you are not accepting and satisfied in the moment and you are judging yourself or somebody else or people pleasing or worried about what people think, right? If you're worried about failing, succeeding, loss, the unknown, rejection, being judged, etc., not being good enough, write it down. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing that these things actually penetrate your everyday life more than you think. Because they're so noted, like so part of our lives, we don't even, that's just our voice and we just go, right? But we don't pay attention to how much it influences us in the short term and the long term. So we just blow it off, right? Because you and I are from up north, so we blow it off. But when you stop blowing it off and actually go, wait a minute, I say this to myself all the time, or God, I have this thought all the time, or, I worry about this all the time. And again, it may not be, you don't think it's all the time, but when you start writing it down, you start seeing how often it comes up. And so these are what I call fear responses. These aren't what your core fear is. These are just ways to distract you from moving forward on what I call the wheel of freedom.
Oh,
I know.
This is why we were talking earlier about that this is going to be a multi-episode conversation here. When it's snowballing into you have no idea and a book falls into I have 20 clients, how does it then snowball into Oprah calling, and how does that snowball into you being on an Emmy Award winner? Like,
yes. Well, this is what's so great. So I'm going to say a couple things. One is, how the law of attraction always says you have to know exactly what you want and visualize it and see it. Okay, there were no reality shows for life coaches. There was no visioning that. Okay, so when everybody says that's like, that's not quite how that works for us. You don't have to know exactly what it is. Don't waste your time with that per se. But really, it was doing my own work. So I started with my private clients, and one of my private clients said, hey, would you come and teach my team, my members, my team at work, some of the things we're talking about. And I looked at her, and I literally said this, well, I don't do that. I don't do that. I just privately coach. Okay. I don't teach. I coach private. And so she just kept asking me. And finally I was like, okay, I'll do it one time. And so there were 4 little people in a little room, and I had a little board, right? And I went in there, all begrudgingly, and I started teaching, i.e. coaching each one of them. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. So I used to be an actress when I was younger, and all of a sudden here I am in front of 4 people. It was like having an audience, right? And so that was amazing. So I started, I was like, I'm going to start having workshops. So I started having workshops once a month at my house, in my living room. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I better start speaking, because I got to get people to come to my workshops. So then I started speaking. And then at speaking, I was like, because I spoke for free. Well, what if I sold my talks? So I started walking around literally every talk I gave. Back in the day, I had a little cassette recorder back in the day. Cassette recorder, had a little thing on my lapel, hit the little 2 things and recorded myself. And then I would sell those Rhonda Britten live and put a title on it. So I never edited them. I just did it live, sold them, and then made a couple like, books, just made these little books and printed them out. And then I was making, speaking for free. Those people were going to workshops, but I was also starting to sell product. And again, all this was because I had this message and I had to say, I had to get it out because God now is like, go, young lady, go, right? And so here I am selling, and I'm speaking as much as I can because speaking is my superpower. And so I'm speaking everywhere. I'm on the road all the time. And again, a lot of time I'm speaking for free at this point still. And I'm selling product, and I'm making like $20,000 a month selling product. And when I was speaking, teaching my classes, people would ask me all the time, write a book. And I'm like, write a book? How can I write a book? What? So then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to write a book. So I hired somebody to help me write the proposal because I didn't know what to do. Did that, sold the book, because back in the day, if you're selling $20,000 with your own little tiny products, you go to a publisher, you're like,
Yeah.
right? So I got a 6-figure advance for a first-time author. And then from there, I was in England on my book tour because I had a 35-city book tour in the US. They sent me to Australia and to United Kingdom. So I'm in England, and England reality show was way already happening, not to a certain extent there. It wasn't happening here at all. And my PR person was like, Rhonda, they have a show they want to make with a life coach, and they've been auditioning for 9 months and they can't find anybody. And they've been auditioning therapists and life coaches from United States and all over the pond and just everywhere, and they can't find anyone. Would you be willing to audition? And I'm like, why, yes, I would. Why, yes, I would. Because remember, I was an actress years ago, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not afraid of the camera. So I went in like the next day, had a screen test, and was living in London 3 weeks later. So what I want to point out is that everything was a new skill, was something that I was initially like, I can't do that, and I did my own work. I did fearless living. I did get off my wheel of fear and onto my wheel of freedom. And then when I did Help Me Rhonda for 2 seasons, I came back after the second season because I came back after every season, and they were casting for Starting Over. And I was the only one in the entire world who had done this. The only one in the whole world.
Wow.
And, the producers, I met the producers, and they're like, this is how the show's going to go, ABC. And I went, yeah, no, that's not what's going to happen. Because I actually been doing it for 2 years, and you have an idea, and I've actually been doing it. So I said, this is what's going to go down. And so I knew if they were brave, they'd hire me. And if they were wanting full control, because I knew more than them, they wouldn't. They were brave. They hired me. And so I did that for 3 seasons, and then wrote 2 more books. And then I did Celebrity Fit Club and wrote my 4th book. And, so it all it came from out there, it came from out there requesting something from me. And then, so I want a book. Can I do that? Could you teach what? And then once I started speaking, so it came from somebody saying something and me being willing eventually to contemplate it, and then eventually do the work to say yes. And so here I am now with you, Richard, the highlight of my career.
Yes. Could you get any better? I mean, you can stop working after this. I'll stop working after this.
Of course.
We'll go on the road together.
Oprah has nothing on you. Nothing on you.
Thank you. Can you say that again into the camera, please?
Oprah has nothing on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. And scene. Bye-bye, everybody. How many books do you have now?
I have 4. I'm in the process of, I just finished my 5th one. It's the first draft of my 5th one. So it's not done, but I just finished that. And I'm starting a 6th one. So the 5th one will be out in the next year and a half. And then the 6th one will probably be 2.5 years. So yeah, they're coming.
Well, I'm hoping that you'll come back for all of those books because you're so fun.
Well, thanks, Richard.
Can you tell everybody about the free guide on your website that's available?
Ooh, yes. Well, I'm even going to make it better, Richard.
Uh-oh.
So I'm the
But
guide.
wait, there's more.
That's right. So you can go to fearlessliving.org and there's a free guide, Fear to Freedom. You can go grab that. But I'm going to do something better because I like you so much, Richard.
Oh.
Have your folks, whoever's listening right now, go to fearlessliving.org, ORG/risk, RISK, and I'm going to give you a free course as my gift. And it is called Stretch, Risk, or Die. And you're going to start learning about how to start taking more risks, start getting outside the box. So if you feel stuck, if you procrastinate, any of those things, if you have a goal, a dream you want to make happen, Stretch, Risk, and Die will help you. And it's 3 15-minute videos, people. So in 1 hour, you can be on your way.
I'll be the first one going there as soon as this is over because I have things.
Thanks.
What do you love most about your life right now?
You know, I am so thrilled that I am writing such transformational information, right? That I'm just really enjoying it. And of course, speaking. So I just love that I'm continuing to do my work and it's ever evolving and more people are recognizing and starting to be willing to look at fear. And, you know, as you know, Richard, we're going to need fearless living more than ever over the next 4 years plus. So we all must get fearless for our own sanity's sake.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I believe that. I mean, I was like, oh my God, everybody needs fearless living now. I've got to be like drumming the beat even harder and louder because there's so much fear right now and we do not have to live that way.
I love you. And I just want you here every day to start us off with a fearless day every day. Also, Rhonda's thinking about starting a podcast, which I think she should, obviously. So you can also write to her and be like, where's the podcast? And get her moving on that because it needs to come from the outside first. People need to tell her what to do.
It's true. I have to know there's a want.
Yes. And there is, I promise. What is the best way that people can connect with you and find you and follow you? And
fearlessliving.org is my website. So you can get everything there. And I am going to be teaching. I'm teaching live, every few months. So grab those times when you can. I also have 2 private podcasts launching in the next couple of months. So they're private. One is called Love Notes from Rhonda. So you get a love message from me every day. That's going to go live in the next 60, 90 days. And then I've got something really exciting, probably in 90 to 100 days. It's called the Coaching Code Daily. And it's for coaches, therapists, wellness practitioners, anybody who wants to learn coaching skills and become better at it. And those are going to be, I'm going to give you 1 10-minute tidbit every day. So every day you are, I know. And I've been working on that. I've been working on this all weekend and I am on fire with the Coaching Code Daily. I cannot wait till that launches. So it's going to be so great. It's going to be 365 episodes every single day.
It's a lot of commitment.
Yes, but
and I love that. Yeah.
It's good. And I also need those are going to be private paid. So I do need a public one. So if people want a public one, they just have to bug me.
There you go.
And of course, all my social media is at Rhonda Britten. Every social media at Rhonda Britten. You'll find me Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, blah, 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 blah.
Do you love all the technology, social media stuff?
Do you want me to tell the truth or do you want me to lie?
Well, I would like the truth now.
You know, it's a lot because that's not what I'm made for.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not made for that. I'm made for creating content, sure, but I'm not made for that. You know, my wheelhouse is speaking and teaching and writing and coaching. Those are really the things that I excel in. So, you know, and I'm also, older than a lot of, I've been doing this since 1995. So I didn't grow up with social media. So it's not like wired in me.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing something, I don't remember to take a photo, right? I don't remember I just don't remember, I was in Europe in April, May, didn't post one. I don't know. I forgot, So I just am not used to it. So, I do have a team. They take, we have videos. I do a fearless quote every Friday. So you can see that and get to know my quotes, and I tell you what it means. So on social media every Friday, definitely look that up. But yeah, I create the content. My team kind of puts it together and puts it out there, but I'm not wired for that.
It's hard when you try to live in the moment, right? And like,
And my
and
job
you're
is to
just
live in
trying
the
to live your,
moment. Right.
yeah, yes,
Right.
yes. I
Yeah.
do that
And
all the
people
time
are
where like something fun will happen. I'm like, well, I mean, I can talk about it, but I have no proof.
no proof, no proof, no proof.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, and social media didn't exist when I was on
Mhm.
Help Me Rhonda and starting over. Right. So, I mean, I think about that because people always say, we want behind the scenes of your life. I'm like, I'm writing on a computer most times. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, woo, watch me write. But if I would have been, if social media existed when I was on starting over and Help Me Rhonda and Celebrity Fit Club, yeah, then sure, come on, follow me on the studio. Sure. So sure,
Mhm.
follow me on the set. But yeah, yes. But there
Yeah.
was no social media way in the day.
No, but she is out there on all of them, so make sure you follow
Yes.
her.
Yes, please.
Yes, Rhonda, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Richard.
I hope to get a great review from you, and I'll do it back at you. And just remember, she said I was better than Oprah, so that's really the point of this.
I said
entire
she has
podcast.
nothing on you.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
I said she has nothing on you.
okay, well, she just took that back as I'm not as good. Now my feelings are
It's
hurt.
it's different, Richard. It's different.
That's true.
You are more playful. I mean, come on, I'm in a
Mm.
TV for God's sake.
Yeah. Oprah
Okay.
wouldn't do that to you.
Well, I was on TV with Oprah, just FYI, real
But
TV.
she wouldn't put you in a
But
TV.
no, she wouldn't put
Yeah,
me in a
damn it.
TV. No.
Although maybe that's bad. She wouldn't box you in like that. Anyway, Rhonda Britten, everyone. We love her. Go to fearlessliving.org and hang out with Rhonda there. Come back anytime, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Life is difficult. Are you feeling overwhelmed or like you could use a little support for your mental well-being? Visit the Help Hub. It's the most comprehensive and inclusive free online destination for mental health resources, helpful tools, crisis hotlines, and supportive content. Just go to thehelphub.co to find the resources you need when you need them most. Unlike other resource pages, the Help Hub is divided into 16 different categories, ensuring that everyone in every community has access to the resources and support that matches their unique needs. Find the help you're looking for at thehelphub.co. Hey, that's our show, everyone. Thanks for watching. Go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, on an all-new live show. So we'll see you then. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.